The more you reveal your pain, the more people might want to hurt you. While this doesn't always happen, it's common for some to take pleasure in seeing you suffer, or even contribute to making it happen or worse. This behavior of sadism and envy, unfortunately, is present in many and can really hinder your personal growth in various aspects of life, be it at work, within a circle of friends, or even in the family. Therefore, learning to not show your weak spot might just become your strong suit. Picture yourself as a tree in the midst of a storm. The leaves might flutter and the branches might sway, but the trunk stays solid, deeply rooted in the ground. This is the image of silent resilience we're going to teach here. We'll talk about how you can be even stronger by showing that you're not easily affected by external or internal issues, where each challenge teaches you to be like the tree, acting as if nothing bothers you. You're not denying the storm, but choosing not to let the rain soak you and the wind knock you down. You'll be learning to master your own destiny, steadfast, strong and calm in a sea of chaos. In this video, we'll discuss 18 Stoic principles of Epictetus, a great and renowned philosopher you've probably heard of. Moreover, I invite you to self-awareness, where strength comes not from the noise of thunder, but from the silence of light that illuminates the path. So in the next few minutes, focus on the content and not on the daily distractions. Let's go. Principle 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Ever wonder why nature gave us 2 ears but just 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, this is not a mistake or coincidence, but rather a clear purpose. So we don't fall in love with our own voice as much as we should with the voices of others. It's through learning from others that we make progress in life, instead of incessantly repeating what we already know. Therefore, starting today, pay more attention to what the people around you are saying, and less to what you've been defending so far. This principle reminds us of the importance of active listening and learning from others. Often we get so caught up in our own opinions and ideas that we miss the opportunity to enrich our knowledge through the perspectives and experiences of others. By listening more than we speak, we open space to understand different viewpoints, gain new insights, and strengthen our interpersonal relationships. This practice helps us grow personally and intellectually, becoming wiser and more connected with the world around us. Principle 2. Always be prepared for the worst. One of the main causes of anxiety and its devastating effects is the expectation of unfavorable circumstances in the future. We fear our children dropping out of school, getting fired from work, our spouse revealing an affair and asking for a divorce, or some other negative event like bankruptcy. The problem is that one day, we fear one of these situations, and the next day, another, and so on. The journey of life, in addition to containing good and happy moments, also reserves inevitable challenges. As a result, we live constantly under stress, caused by different worries each day. It is at this point that Epictetus's philosophy becomes relevant, being both drastic and effective. He encourages us to think that all the things we fear have already happened. What could be worse? This perspective helps our spirit to develop coping strategies to move forward with determination. This principle teaches us to adopt a mindset of preparation to face life's challenges. Instead of living constantly under the shadow of fear of the unknown, we are invited to consider the worst possible scenario as a possibility and think about how we would deal with it. This approach allows us to develop resilience and coping strategies, reducing the anxiety caused by the uncertainty of the future. Ultimately, by facing our fears head-on, we become more capable of dealing with adversity when it arises and moving forward with confidence and determination. Principle 3. Be prepared to fail, as it is the only way to progress. Often we do everything to avoid being seen as fools, but Epictetus offers a different perspective. According to his philosophy, one of the best things that can happen is to be considered a fool. This represents the real path to personal and professional growth. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming doesn't come from an instant reaction, but rather is the result of a long process of trial and error. For it is through error that we can perfect what separates us from excellence. This principle encourages us to embrace failure as part of the learning and growth process. Instead of fearing to appear foolish, we should understand that making mistakes is inevitable and, in fact, an essential part of progress. It's through challenges and difficulties that we develop resilience, gain experience, and hone our skills. By accepting that failure is an opportunity for improvement, we become more open to taking risks and facing challenges. This mindset helps us pursue our goals with determination and continuously evolve. Principle 4. Be aware of the dangers of fortune. The wealth we so desire carries with it a stigma from which few can escape. It's not just about people who suddenly appear, pretending to be our friends to benefit from our fortune. Money has the power to transform people, not always for the better. When we become owners of this coveted resource, we discover that we have something we did not have before, and it is at this moment that our moral integrity can be eroded by greed. This principle warns us about the dangers associated with the unrestrained pursuit of wealth and the accumulation of material resources. It highlights that, beyond the obvious pitfalls, like people who may approach us for financial interest, wealth itself has the potential to change our perspective and values. Money, when mismanaged, can corrupt our ethical principles and distance us from what truly matters in life. Thus, we are encouraged to seek a healthy balance between the pursuit of financial prosperity and the preservation of our moral and ethical values. Principle 5. Avoid fixating on a single hope. Our human nature tends towards variety, which means there is no need to concentrate all our hopes on a single goal. Putting all your eggs in one basket can be risky and potentially devastating if it doesn't materialize. Therefore, Epictetus advises us to pursue multiple dreams and aspirations. By diversifying our goals, we not only mitigate the risk of disappointment, but also multiply the chances of finding satisfaction and success. Epictetus's teaching reminds us of the importance of having a balanced approach to our dreams and aspirations. By not rigidly clinging to a single hope or goal, we open up space to explore various possibilities and paths. This not only increases the chances of success on multiple fronts, but also helps maintain a more balanced emotional state, as failure in one goal doesn't mean the collapse of all our aspirations. This principle encourages us to be flexible, open to new opportunities, and resilient in the face of adversity. Principle 6. Always keep in mind that death is the inevitable final destination. This thought is not an invitation to pessimism, but a reminder to recognize that death is the end point of all our actions and efforts. With this awareness, we begin to question the real value of dedicating precious years to saving for material goods like a house, which, although valuable, will not accompany us after death. Just as we carry everyday essentials like a phone, cards, and a toothbrush, it would be beneficial to keep with us a small notebook with Stoic principles. With them, we start to see setbacks not as misfortunes, but as integral parts of life. We no longer see existence as an infinite time available, but gain a more realistic perception of our existence, which leads us to use our time more effectively and meaningfully. This Stoic principle invites us to reflect on the impermanence of life and to use this awareness as a guide to live more intentionally and meaningfully. By remembering that death is a common destiny for all, we are encouraged to evaluate what truly matters and dedicate our time and energy to actions and relationships that enrich our lives. This helps us live the present more fully and make choices that reflect our deepest values, rather than getting lost in superficial or material concerns. Principle 7. True wealth lies in a contented spirit. Through his Stoic philosophy, Epictetus offers us a unique view of happiness, expressed in one of his famous quotes: "A wise man is one who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This reflection transcends mere thought. It is a guide to learn to cease our restlessness for riches we do not yet possess. As we indulge in complaints and laments for what we lack, we waste precious moments of joy that could be spent in gratitude for what we have achieved so far, which is often more than we are conditioned to appreciate. Therefore, a truly wealthy person is one who is in a state of genuine happiness. This principle teaches us to redefine our conception of wealth. Instead of associating it with material possessions and external achievements, Epictetus encourages us to find it in satisfaction and gratitude for the things we already have. This perspective helps us cultivate a sense of contentment and appreciation for the present, regardless of external circumstances. By adopting this mindset, we not only find inner peace, but also develop a more positive and grateful attitude towards life. Principle 8. Adopt humility as an essential part of your life. To truly learn something, it is crucial that a person be willing to reconsider what they think they already know. Through this maxim, Epictetus incites us to cultivate humility, especially in the context of learning. Walking through life exhibiting the pride of our knowledge distances us more and more from true knowledge, which is born from the recognition of our ignorance about what we desire to learn. Thus, we should face each new experience with the curiosity and wonder of a child, who has as much capacity to marvel as a desire to learn. This principle underscores the importance of humility in the learning process. Recognizing that we don't know everything and that there is always something new to learn is key to continual growth. Humility is not just a virtue, but a powerful tool that allows us to keep our minds open and receptive to new ideas, perspectives, and knowledge. By approaching life with the mindset of an eternal learner, we keep alive our capacity to marvel and absorb the world around us in a rich and profound way. Principle 9. Consider guilt as a curse. Individuals with limited vision tend to blame others. Ordinary people blame themselves. But the truly wise understand that assigning blame is a futile exercise. Inspired by Epictetus's words, modern therapists have begun to treat guilt as a feeling to be eliminated from our lives. The key to overcoming guilt is not to play its game. The challenge lies in the fact that blaming others or ourselves is an easy escape route, as it exempts us from the responsibility of correcting the mistakes made. Thus, resorting to guilt is a seductive trap. Only those with resolute determination to improve themselves can avoid the guilt trap and, at the same time, take responsibility for their actions. This principle teaches us about the importance of transcending guilt, whether directed towards ourselves or others. Guilt often serves as a barrier, preventing us from learning from our mistakes and moving forward. Instead of fixating on who is to blame, wisdom lies in accepting our mistakes, learning from them, and taking corrective actions. This requires significant emotional maturity and a willingness to grow and develop, rather than remaining stuck in cycles of guilt and self-reproach. Recognizing our flaws without sinking into guilt allows us to move forward in a healthier and more constructive way. Principle 10. Forge connections with successful individuals. It's interesting to observe how quickly we move away from someone who sneezes near us, fearing infection, yet we often don't exercise the same caution to avoid an even more dangerous contagion. that of negativity and discouragement. Epictetus offered us valuable advice in this regard. We should surround ourselves with people who inspire us to be better, as the company we choose deeply affects our mood and attitude. There are those who drain our energy and deteriorate our day, while others fill us with enthusiasm and joy. Thus, one of the wisest decisions we can make is to form alliances with those who bring us positivity, distancing ourselves from those who have the power to make us lament our own existence. This principle emphasizes the importance of the environment and the company we choose for our lives. Just as we protect ourselves from physical illnesses, it's crucial to guard our mental and emotional health from the negative effects of toxic relationships. By choosing to be around people who motivate us, who share our values, and who encourage us to grow, we are not only improving our quality of life, but also empowering ourselves to reach our full potential. It's a powerful reminder that we are, to a large extent, a reflection of the company we keep. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. Principle 11. Always remember that your reactions define your destiny. We should not treat our responses to situations lightly, as they are pivotal to our success or failure. Epictetus made this clear. He taught that while we cannot choose the events that happen to us, we have total autonomy over how to deal with them. Misfortunes may befall anyone, but it is our attitude towards them that will outline the course from there. For some, a divorce might be the beginning of a period of depression and victimization. However, for Epictetus, it represents a precious chance to embark on the journey of self-discovery. Keep in mind that your life is not made of what happens to you, but what you do with these experiences. This principle highlights the power of attitude and perception in shaping our lives. Circumstances may be uncontrollable and even adverse, but our response to them is where our true power lies. By choosing a positive and proactive attitude in the face of challenges, we transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. This teaching encourages us not to be mere spectators of our lives, but active participants who use every experience, good or bad, as a stepping stone towards greater self-understanding and a deeper insight into the world around us. Principle 12. Always fulfill your responsibilities. Each person has a unique role in society and the world. Just as the sun does not need praise or rituals to rise each dawn, it simply appears, fulfilling its natural role. Similarly, each element of nature performs its function, and we, as part of it, should do the same. Waiting for recognition or applause to perform our tasks is to fail both the community we are part of and ourselves. Recognizing our mission and knowing that others depend on our contribution, we have a moral duty to act without needing to be encouraged or reminded. This principle encourages us to recognize and value our individual and collective importance in the grand scheme of things. Understanding that each of our actions, no matter how small, contributes to the functioning of the whole gives us a sense of purpose and direction. It is not the pursuit of external recognition that should motivate our actions, but the understanding that fulfilling our responsibilities is essential for the collective well-being and harmony of society. By acting with this sense of duty, we contribute to a more balanced and just world. Principle 13. Avoid hatred against those who are hostile to you. Instead, choose to ignore them. Your greatness and moral superiority are beyond those who criticize, scorn, and discriminate against you. Thus, do not waste your valuable time nurturing negative feelings for these people, as they do not even deserve a moment of your attention. We are encouraged not to fear those who cause us harm, since their hostile actions are merely fruitless attempts to harm us. Therefore, by ignoring them, you become immune to that kind of negativity. This principle teaches us a valuable lesson on how to deal with negativity and antagonism. When faced with hostility or contempt, it's tempting to react with similar feelings. However, by doing so, we allow those people to have an influence over our feelings and actions. By choosing to ignore those who treat us poorly, we not only preserve our peace of mind, but also demonstrate significant emotional strength and maturity. This approach is not about passivity, but about consciously choosing not to let others' negativity disturb our tranquility and well-being. Principle 14. Embrace the path of introspection and reconsideration of our life choices, placing simplicity as an ideal to be valued. In an era of excessive consumption and incessant pursuit of luxury and opulence, this teaching emerges as a beacon of wisdom, illuminating the way to a more balanced and authentic way of living. Choosing simplicity is not a renunciation of comfort or quality of life, but a reorientation of our priorities. When we engage in the race for the accumulation of material goods, we often lose ourselves in an endless cycle of wealth maintenance, requiring not only financial resources, but also significant emotional and physical investment. This cycle can lead to a constant state of worry about payments, debts, and the need to sustain a lifestyle, often more a response to social expectations than a true expression of our desires and values. On the other hand, adopting a simpler lifestyle opens space for a more peaceful existence focused on what truly matters. Simplicity allows us to slow down, reduce stress and anxiety associated with managing wealth and financial commitments. This doesn't mean living without comfort, but finding a balance where comfort doesn't become a source of worry or a barrier to more authentic and rewarding experiences. Moreover, simplicity brings the possibility of a deeper and more meaningful relationship with the world around us. Freeing ourselves from the burden of possessions, we gain mobility and the freedom to invest our time and energy in relationships, personal experiences, and cultivating our interests and passions. Ultimately, simplicity offers the opportunity to live according to our own values, rather than conforming to societal pressures and expectations. This principle teaches us that by valuing simplicity, we are not just making a stylistic choice, but are moving towards a fuller, more balanced and genuinely rich life in aspects that truly matter: human connections, personal experiences, and the satisfaction of living a life that is truly ours. Principle 15 invites us to profound reflection on the power of self-control and the importance of emotional resilience in our daily lives. This lesson, imbued with ancient wisdom, resonates with modern reality, where we are often confronted with words and actions that can disturb our emotional balance. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, teaches us that within us are several metaphorical keys that control our emotional reactions. Some of these keys open doors to serenity and happiness, while others lead us down paths of emotional turbulence. When we allow ourselves to be irritated or disturbed by the actions and words of others, we are, in essence, handing one of these critical keys over to someone else. In doing so, we allow them to have indirect control over our emotional state and, consequently, the quality of our existence. True strength, as suggested by this principle, lies in the ability to build and maintain a wall of emotional resilience. This wall is not a barrier to connection or empathy, but a defense against the negative and non-constructive influence of others. By developing this resilience, we gain the ability to filter what we absorb from the external world, consciously choosing what affects us and what we let pass. This philosophy does not suggest indifference to others, but rather control over one's own emotional reaction. Recognizing that we cannot control the actions or words of other people, but only our response to them, we pave the way for greater emotional freedom. This freedom is key to maintaining peace of mind, focusing on what is essential for our personal growth and happiness. Practicing this approach leads us to emotional maturity, where we understand that, although we cannot prevent the waves of others' behavior from reaching us, we have the choice of how we will surf them. By adopting a stance of resilience and self-control, we preserve our inner serenity and keep focused on our personal path, cultivating an environment of well-being and contentment that is, after all, the foundation for a fulfilled and complete life. Principle 16, emphasizing the supremacy of friendship over material wealth, highlights a profound and timeless concept. This teaching goes beyond mere appreciation of human bonds. It delves into the depths of what it means to be truly rich in an emotional and spiritual sense, in an increasingly materialistic world where success is often measured by tangible possessions and visible achievements. This principle reminds us that true wealth lies in human connections. Loyal friends, those who stay with us through the highs and lows of life, are like beacons of light in times of darkness. They offer not just support and understanding, but also help us see situations from different perspectives, enriching our lives with a diversity of thought and experience. Nurturing these friendships is an investment that brings immeasurable returns. Unlike material goods, which can lose value or disappear, the value of a genuine and sincere friendship only grows over time. These relationships, built on foundations of trust, mutual respect, and affection, provide a type of support that cannot be quantified. Moreover, investing in friendships means cultivating a garden of experiences and memories that become part of who we are. In moments of loneliness or sadness, it's often these memories that bring us comfort and joy. And in times of happiness and celebration, it's these friends who multiply our joy. This principle teaches us that in the end, the measure of our wealth is not found in the balance of our bank accounts, but in the quality and depth of the relationships we maintain. A rich life is a life full of true friendships, where each friend is an invaluable treasure, a source of joy, wisdom, and strength. Therefore, by striving to be good friends and maintain meaningful relationships, we are not only enriching our own lives, but also contributing to a more connected, compassionate, and humane world. Principle 17. Always seek to benefit from circumstances. Whatever happens, it is your choice to benefit from it or not. These were the words of Epictetus. Thus, it is not just an option, but an imperative to extract the positive from adversity. As long as there is discernment in you, there will be the ability to identify opportunities that emerge from the difficulties you face. Imagine, for example, that one day you discover your dismissal from work. Instead of succumbing to despair and blaming fate, view this as a chance to embark on that venture you dreamed of while doing a less stimulating job. Therefore, make an effort to find the positive aspect in every situation. This attitude, accumulated over a lifetime, will undoubtedly lead you to a more rewarding destiny than simply surrendering to lamentation. This approach, taught by Epictetus, encourages us to transform challenges into steps for personal and professional growth. Instead of being overwhelmed by adversity, we are encouraged to use our creativity and resilience to find alternative paths and disguised opportunities. By adopting this mindset, we not only overcome obstacles but also evolve and strengthen ourselves, paving the way for a more promising and fulfilling future. Principle 18, inspired by Stoic teachings, offers an enlightening perspective on how to deal with life's uncertainties and challenges. This principle guides us to clearly differentiate between what is and what is not within our control, emphasizing the importance of focusing our energy and attention on areas we can influence. Stoic wisdom, as presented by Epictetus, teaches us that many aspects of life, such as others' perceptions, our reputation, the ultimate outcome of our efforts, success, and even the availability of resources are beyond our direct control. These elements, which escape our control, can be sources of great anguish and frustration if we dedicate too much concern to them. The principle invites us to recognize and accept this reality, thus avoiding the waste of time and emotional energy on issues we cannot change. Instead, Epictetus advises concentrating on improving what we can transform. This includes our actions, decisions, beliefs, and how we react to life's events. By focusing on these areas, we not only maximize our effectiveness and impact, but also gain a greater sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing we are doing our best within the given circumstances. This principle is particularly valuable in times of adversity. In difficult situations, the natural tendency may be to resent or anguish over circumstances. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to face these challenges with curiosity and tenacity, viewing them as opportunities for learning and personal growth. Instead of lamenting what we cannot control, we are encouraged to adapt our approach and attitude, finding ways to progress despite obstacles. In summary, Principle 18 teaches us the art of acceptance and transformation. By accepting what is beyond our control and transforming what is within our reach, we move through life with a greater sense of purpose and tranquility. This teaching not only helps us navigate the vicissitudes of everyday life, but also prepares us to face more challenging times with a balanced and constructive perspective. Reflecting on this principle, we realize that Stoic wisdom encourages us to focus on what is tangible and moldable by our actions, while teaching us to let go of what we cannot change. This perspective not only brings inner peace, but also directs us to invest energy where we can truly make a difference. By internalizing and applying this teaching, we become more resilient and focused, capable of traversing challenging periods with a clear mind and a calm heart. Stoic philosophy, therefore, is not just a set of ideas, but a practical path to a more balanced and fulfilled life. I hope you enjoy the video, and since you made it to the end, please share your thoughts with us in the comments. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Stay blessed. Stay